see, I haven't seen that or heard that cut for a while.
J'avais compris que si vous n'aviez pas fait acteur, vous auriez été musicien à plein temps, vous auriez été jazzman. Et finalement, vous faites les deux. Donc c'est plutôt une réussite. Vous venez de sortir d'ailleurs un premier album. Qu'est-ce que ça vous apporte en plus, le jazz, par rapport à l'actorat?
Let's see, yeah, I'm so lucky. I'm so, first of all, lucky to have ever broken into acting at all and then gotten a chance to, you know how uncommon it is to get a chance to do it over the course of a few, 3-4 decades. That's pretty good. And I'm on the brink of my best work, I believe, just creatively. I feel better than ever, and I'm getting more opportunities than ever. So that's really lucky. And then this other thing, which has been a kind of parallel passion from when I was a kid, playing, and jazz particularly, and I snuck it into a couple of movies. Once I was in New York and a couple of plays, but I always had it around. And then about 30 years ago, I started playing out and about, just for my own pleasure, under the radar, not meaning to do anything with it career-wise, but it kind of developed organically. It really did, and then we were playing, you know, all over the place, mostly Los Angeles, and it kind of developed. It really became more of a show, and my music developed, and I played with great guys who kind of changed around, and then a year ago I was on the Graham Norton show in London promoting Thor Ragnarok, and Gregory Porter, the great jazz singer, said, hey, I'm promoting this album, I want to sing a song, all I use is piano accompaniment, do you want to play with me? And his record label, Decca, saw me do it and thought maybe I should do something with Jeff, and that's how we came up with that album, and then they filmed that album, and since then it's been a growth spurt just for myself, and it's growing into something else, and you may see us, we're going to play Glastonbury, that festival that you may know, in a month or so. Tomorrow, if you're in Cannes, I'm flying to Nice tomorrow, and our band, that band mostly, is going to be with me, and we're going to play a gig, and then we're flying back to LA, and we're doing a lot of interesting things. That's why I was interested in seeing that, because it's a year ago, but I have developed a stage or two later than that, so I'm enjoying it terrifically. And what does it give me that acting doesn't give me? Well, it's never been hooked into my ego in the same way. I never needed it to make a living. I never counted on it or imagined that I was going to be anything. So it's just been for pleasure. And sometimes I've had to counteract that other aspect in acting, whereby I find the pure pleasure in it and go, hey, don't audition, you're not auditioning, you're not trying, you know, quit trying to make it good, just make it something you love, you know, which the other is more naturally. And then they mash, you know, and mesh in that there's improvisation in acting exploration and some of the acting that I do, and there's improvisation there, and listening, and of course, and all that. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
J'ai vraiment beaucoup de chance, c'est très très rare, ça fait depuis 3-4 décennies que j'ai à la fois la chance d'être extrêmement actif au niveau du cinéma, et j'ai depuis l'enfance des projets parallèles musicaux, notamment autour du jazz. Alors j'ai eu l'occasion de faire des pièces de théâtre à New York, où la scène de jazz est extrêmement forte, et ça fait une 30aine d'années que je joue. Au départ c'était vraiment purement pour le plaisir, et puis ça a commencé à prendre un petit peu plus d'ampleur. Je joue un peu partout, majoritairement quand même à Los Angeles. J'ai la chance d'avoir des super collaborateurs, et puis ce que vous avez vu là, en fait, c'est vraiment le fruit du hasard. J'étais sur le plateau du show de Graham Norton à Londres, et puis il y a ce chanteur fabuleux qui s'appelle Gregory Porter qui était sur le plateau, et on a commencé à improviser ensemble, et son label m'a proposé de faire un album filmé. Et ça commence à grandir, à prendre un peu d'ampleur. Cet été, on va notamment jouer à Glastonbury, qui est un super festival. Demain, si jamais vous êtes à Cannes, Jeff fait un concert aussi.
Merci beaucoup. We should really be drinking out of plastic bottles, should we? And using up all these. Well, what are we going to do with all these plastic bottles? Oh, help the I'm figuring out. I'm trying to get better every day.
Ne buvez pas dans des bouteilles en plastique. Évitez. Et voilà, l'extrait qu'on a vu, là, ça a été fait il y a seulement 1 an, et pourtant, depuis, le groupe a vraiment passé plusieurs étapes, et le projet est à un stade tout à fait différent aujourd'hui.
Bon, alors ça va être à vous, je suis désolée, j'imagine qu'il y a beaucoup de questions, mais on a un temps très limité, parce qu'il doit retourner à son
Questions from the audience,
Donc,
yes.
à vous.
Lovely, she'll come to you with a microphone. Yes, thank you so much. Look, who's back there? Oh, yes.
Hello.
Hello.
J'aurais voulu savoir s'il avait encore, si vous aviez encore des projets en tant qu'acteur, des réalisateurs avec qui vous aimeriez tourner, ou des acteurs, des genres de films ou de rôles que vous aimeriez tourner.
Any genres? Yes. Yes. Well, I have, well, you know, like some wise people say, in the matter of ambition and this and that, there's a counterbalance side to that, whereby you say, if nothing ever more than has already happened would happen, I'd be satisfied. There's something good about that. I kind of like that. Having said that, the other aspect of it is that, yes, I'm as appetized as ever and enjoy and am fascinated by some other directors. Let me see P.T. Anderson. I may have mentioned him already. Rick Alverson again, I think he's a brilliant director, and once you see The Mountain, if you like it, you should see his other couple of movies, Entertainment and The Comedy. I love P.T. Anderson. I love the Coen brothers. Gee, I talked to them. I've run into them here and there. Never had a chance to work with them, but I ran into them a couple of months ago, and both of them, Joel and Ethan, we had conversations. Who knows if anything will spring of this? I'm sure these kind of conversations go on all the time, and everybody wants to work with them, of course. But I expressed full-throatedly my enthusiasm about them, and they seemed also receptive. So who knows about that? You never worked with Scorsese, you know. I've been watching a lot of, I love to watch YouTube these days. You know, I watch interviews with all kind of people, and I keep seeing things on Scorsese. So, you know, lots of people. Oh, Claire Denis. I want to work with Claire Denis. And Lynn Ramsey, a woman named Lynn Ramsey, whose movies I like very much. I like that last one she did with Joaquin Phoenix very much. I've liked several of her movies. So, yes, there are directors that I'd like to work with. Actors, you know, so many wonderful actors. You know who I like? These, you know who I like is Kristen Stewart. I think she's very good. She's wonderful, isn't she? She's wonderful. Anyway, a lot of people I'd like to work with. Who knows? Yes, questions, yes. Oh, sorry.
En fait, je vais prendre le contre-pied de votre question. Si tout devait s'arrêter aujourd'hui, je serais quand même satisfait. Ça ne m'empêche pas d'avoir quand même des désirs, notamment de travailler avec Paul Thomas Anderson, j'adore ses films. Retravailler avec Calverson. D'ailleurs, si demain vous aimez The Mountain, allez vraiment voir les films qu'il a fait avant, qui sont fabuleux. Et puis les frères Cohen, que j'ai croisés ici et là. Ça doit leur arriver tout le temps de croiser des acteurs, mais j'ai vraiment été très direct, à la fois avec Joël et avec Ethan. On va voir ce qui se passe, on verra. Avec Scorsese aussi, on n'a jamais travaillé ensemble, mais ça me plairait beaucoup. Je vois beaucoup d'entretiens avec lui sur YouTube. Il y a vraiment plein de gens. Claire Denis aussi, si jamais des gens pétés. Et puis une réalisatrice qui s'appelle Lynn Ramsey, qui avait fait un film l'an dernier, qui est en France, qui s'appelle Beautiful Day avec Joaquin Phoenix. Il y a plein de réalisateurs et beaucoup d'acteurs géniaux, notamment Kristen Stewart.
Hi, Jeff. I'll bounce this one at you in English. I'm an Australian film director, so I have to speak a modicum of English.
Okay.
I read a lot, like you do, and I've done Sapiens, and I've just read the Arnold Schwarzenegger Total Recall book, which is much more lowbrow, of course. But he talked about a very interesting thing, and I'd like your take on it as a grand actor who the French obviously love, and I'd like to hear your point on it. But they talk about gathering your emotions and using the emotions that you have inside to bring out in a part. So you've been doing this for a long time. You carry around a vault of emotions inside your body, bringing them up. How hard is it? These guys would love to know, because they've been watching you for years, how easy or how hard is it for you to plumb those emotions and bring them up in front of 300 technicians on the 13th take at the end of a 20-hour day?
It's a very interesting question. If you're interested in that kind of thing, because you're actors, I don't want to get too inside baseball, but there's something about what you said that interests me. Here's briefly what I've done. Sanford Meisner laid out acting for me, and acting was not only professionally a kind of wild, out of reach thing, but as I studied with these serious teachers, it seemed like a not only a worthwhile endeavor, but to do it well, something that required a big effort. And I put a big effort into it and worked for a long time. But now as I look back on it, I overworked. But maybe I had to. Maybe I had to do all the things I had to do. It was very difficult for me. And before I would do, I could tell you all kind of parts that you've seen, before which I was not only insecure, because in fact I didn't know what I was really doing yet, because I think the good side and the bad side of what Sandy Meisner said, which was it takes 20 years to be an actor, made me, have a kind of set my dial for a long curve, but also feel unworthy in some ways, before that 20 years were up, and forever I always felt that I had to kind of prove myself to myself, In any case, I was making a big effort to be as full as I can, and before many parts I would read through a whole other play, show up early, get myself weepy. It's easy for actors, young actors, to think, as long as I'm crying, I'm acting and I'm doing something. So I would cry a lot or get in touch with my fury, towering fury, before I do anything, not necessarily even requiring that, just to kind of make sure everything was there and to make sure I was cooking on all burners. As I now see it, maybe all that added up to something, which is sort of allows me to have things available to me now more effortlessly. Or I never had to do it, who knows, but these days my favorite method, although I attend to solving whatever problem I have to solve from the time I get the part, but sometimes it doesn't require as much of something. But then certainly on the day, I do very little emotional masturbation. Very little, if none. I used to even experiment with performance enhancement substances of one kind or another, the last of which was coffee. Like many people do for all sorts of endeavors, but I was psychologically a little bit addicted to going, well, I'm going to have to do a thing like this even, and so I better get my energy up or something, I stopped that about 4 or 5 years ago now, have not had a drop of caffeine, and I come to do whatever I have to do, whether it's this or a scene or anything, as is, having thought about it, or mostly, wanting to be surprised by it, and just feeling that whatever I got, especially if I'm surprised, well, a little bit in line with Meisner's technology, will be enough. And I trust myself more, and because of that, things not only are available to me, but they are available more unexpectedly and deeper. That's why I say I'm on the brink of my best work, certainly my most enjoyable work for me. That's a little bit of the answer to that, which is interesting to me. It's a little inside baseball if it's useful or interesting to anybody else. And so if I went back to the classroom now, I would make sure to tell everybody that and save them, if I could, decades or years or blood and sweat that maybe is unnecessary, et cetera, et cetera. Oh boy, sorry.
Alors je vais traduire la question. Donc en fait c'est une question du public qui disait comment est-ce que vous avez un spectre d'émotions, une palette de jeux qui est extrêmement vaste. Est-ce que c'est facile pour vous ou est-ce qu'au contraire c'est dur d'aller piocher dans vos émotions? Alors j'ai trouvé que c'était une question très intéressante. En fait, Sanford Meisner, encore lui le professeur, m'a tout expliqué. Même au tout début où le métier d'acteur semblait être quelque chose d'extrêmement compliqué et inaccessible. Et en fait, il nous a appris que bien faire quelque chose demande un effort colossal et je pense que j'ai trop travaillé. Peut-être plus que nécessaire parce qu'au début, j'étais pas sûr de moi et Meisner nous répétait que ça prend 20 ans de vraiment devenir un acteur accompli. Donc d'un côté, ça m'a permis de savoir ce qui m'attendait, mais en même temps, ça veut dire beaucoup d'efforts. Alors j'ai lu un nombre colossal de pièces, j'arrivais tout le temps en avance aux répétitions, je m'entraînais à pleurer, à me mettre en colère, même me mettre en colère quand la scène en question ne le nécessitait pas, c'était simplement pour faire démarrer la machine. Et aujourd'hui, en fait, j'ai trouvé la méthode que je préfère, qui est de minimiser la préparation en amont et d'arriver sur le moment, sur le plateau, en limitant au maximum alors, un petit geste comme ça, la masturbation émotionnelle. J'ai limité vraiment toutes les substances, notamment le café, ça fait 5 ans que j'ai arrêté parce que ça donnait une mauvaise énergie pour jouer, que ce soit d'ailleurs pour jouer ou pour venir parler devant des gens. Et je viens dans l'état dans lequel je suis en fait. Et je me dis ça ira, j'ai appris à me faire confiance et je trouve que je suis plus disponible et aussi ça me permet d'atteindre des émotions qui sont plus profondes et je profite vraiment du moment présent à ce moment-là. Et j'aimerais bien pouvoir revenir en arrière à l'époque où on était étudiant en comédie et dire qu'en fait tout cet effort colossal il n'est pas tant que ça nécessaire.
My favorite preparation now is to take a nap, is to go to sleep, make sure I've gotten a nap, a revivifying nap, and wake up just before I do something and I'm ready to do it. And you know, music has helped because musicians they don't have to make themselves cry or get, if they play the blues, all they have to do is start playing. They just start playing. And it doesn't really matter how they feel. It matters if they can play. And if you can play,